Broncos look for a big bounce back in prime time. Thursday night football as several replacement players take on big roles. The EPA weighing in on Denver's lead water pipes, the latest on the city's efforts to replace them. Plus, several bear sightings in neighborhoods just this week in the metro. What you need to know to stay safe. Thanks so much for joining us here for Denver 7 News at 11. I'm Jason Grenauer. We begin with the Denver Broncos, who welcome the Indianapolis Colts to town for Thursday night football tonight. You can see that primetime matchup right here on Denver 7. Now, the Broncos are 2-2 coming off that major disappointment of a loss in Las Vegas. The Colts come to Denver with a 1-2-1 record, also coming off of a loss. So let's get all the latest with Denver 7 Broncos insider Troy Renck. Troy, welcome to the program. The big headline coming into this game is injuries. Both teams without their top running backs. The Colts' Jonathan Taylor won't play. Javonte Williams, he's out for the season. That means it's Melvin Gordon time. He had that huge fumble last week. What are you expecting from MG3 tonight?
Well, listen, he needs to protect the ball. It's that simple. He has 5 fumbles in his past 5 games. He has 5 fumbles in his past 44 carries. That is really unprecedented. Usually you don't get another opportunity to start, but because of the injury to Javonte Williams, they are going to lean on Gordon a little bit. Now, they signed Latavius Murray from the Saints, but he played Jason in London on Sunday, so it's not realistic for him really to contribute on a Thursday night following a game in London on Sunday. But they need Gordon to get around 65, 70 yards just to keep play action as a weapon for Russell Wilson. I've talked to teammates about Gordon. They said he's been in a good headspace. He's motivated. He's not looking over his shoulder. This is perhaps his last opportunity to show he can be a contributor for this team, and they need him tonight.
All right, going to the other side of the ball. The Broncos defense was playing well to start the season, top 5 in the league, and then they just got run over in Las Vegas. So how does this defense bounce back tonight?
Yeah, Josh Jacobs left tread marks on their chest in Vegas. I mean, they couldn't get off the field. 75 plays. The Broncos offense had 53 plays. That's no way to win when you're not able to control time of possession. So how do they get back to where they were? It starts with stopping the run. If they stop the run, and they're going to have backup running backs for the Colts, Phillip Lindsay, the former CU Buff star, Broncos standout, will likely get a few carries as well, but he's the backup to the backup. But it starts with stopping the run, put Matt Ryan in danger. Matt Ryan, Jason, has fumbled 9 times, lost 3. He's thrown 5 picks. He's a turnover machine. You've got to force them to force Matt Ryan to turn the ball over.
Right. Finally, as we head into Thursday night football, again, a game you can watch right here on Denver 7. What are you looking for? What ultimately wins this game, and what's your prediction?
Well, really, for me, Jason, it comes down to Russell Wilson making enough plays with his legs, move the pocket, show mobility. He has about 25 yards scrambling, and then at least 1 deep strike. We saw that to Hamler. They're going to eventually double Cortland Sutton. So a deep strike to someone like Jerry Jeudy or KJ Hamler could be the difference in a close, low-scoring game. I have the Broncos winning 23-17. They're great on Thursday night, 11-4 all-time. Hasn't been recent success, but they're usually really good on Thursday, Jason.
All right, our Denver 7 Broncos insider Troy Renck. Troy, thank you so much for the time. And once again, you don't need any special subscriptions. Denver 7, the only station in town broadcasting the game. Our coverage kicks off right here at 5 p.m. Kickoff for the game then is just after 6. Then our special post-game coverage immediately follows the game. And a programming note, ABC's Thursday night primetime premieres will air tonight. It's just going to be over on our sister station, Local 3. That's Channel 3. That starts with Station 19 at 7 p.m. Colorado's official state website is still offline after a cyber attack. And we're told there is no timeline for when it will come back online. The state set up a temporary one to help people get access to services. Now, other states' government websites have also been targeted. Earlier this week, a Russian hacking group said it would attack Colorado's and other websites in connection to growing tension between Russia and NATO over the war in Ukraine. Well, Denver is making progress on getting rid of its lead water lines, and that program may keep the city from having to meet other EPA rules. Denver 7's Veronica Acosta has an update on this citywide project.
Well, Well, first things first, there's no lead in our city's water, but Denver Water has been trying for a while now to change out leaded pipes that are all across the city. And that's what today's EPA meeting is really about, allowing Denver to forego this additive in its water system that basically would coat these leaded pipes and not allow the metal to go in through our taps, whether that's in the kitchen, maybe even in the bathroom. Denver's lead reduction program, that's been a huge success, and it's been in place since about 2020. It's working toward replacing more than 64,000 leaded pipes that are all across the city. Many of the homes here near Alamo Placida Park, they're in the future phases of this project. Denver expects to be done in about a 15-year time span, so by 2035. Before this program was in place, Denver Water was just replacing these lead service lines as they kind of came about them, maybe one by one. If you see you've got these lead lines to your house, you can get some help in the meantime, and that's the good news.
Denver Water is doing it at no direct cost to the customer, also providing pitchers and filters that our customers can use if they do indeed have lead in their home, that they can use until those lines are replaced as well.
So if you want to take part in the EPA's meeting that's happening, it is happening this evening between 6 and 8, and it is via Zoom, so anyone can join in on there. We're in Denver this morning. I'm Veronica Acosta, Denver 7.
Veronica, thank you. A new service is opening today to support Denver's homeless when they're released from the hospital. The 98 apartments at the Renaissance Legacy Lofts and Stout Street Recuperative Care Facility will include medical care for those who need it for both physical and behavioral conditions. Bears are packing on the pounds to get ready for winter. Now, this video comes to us from Katmai National Park up in Montana, where they're celebrating Fat Bear Week. But down here in the Denver metro, our own bears are making their way into neighborhoods here in the metro. Denver 7's Jessica Crawford reports on the best way to help you avoid an unwanted encounter.
Yeah, this is the time of year where bears are eating nonstop, and one place where they love to stop for a meal is a trash can like the ones out here in this Lone Tree neighborhood. And as bears prepare to hibernate, they have to eat a lot.
I definitely want to remind folks that bears are currently in hyperphagia. That's the time of year when they spend up to 20 hours a day trying to eat more than 20,000 calories to fatten up for winter, getting ready for hibernation.
This bear was tranquilized and relocated from Littleton this weekend when it spent more than a day near Ken Carl and Kipling. And this Douglas County bear, well, the sheriff's office sent us this video showing the bear going right for a deputy's trash can on the west side of the county. There was just kitty litter inside, though, and that bear moved on quickly. That wasn't the case for this bear in Highlands Ranch, though. On Tuesday near MacArthur Ranch Road, it passed out in a tree after eating fermented apples. So what can you do to reduce your risk of coming face to face with a bear? CPW has a ton of tips, and here are the big 3. Don't put your trash out until the morning. Keep all the doors and windows locked, and don't leave food or strong air fresheners in your car because they can get inside of those too. And if you do encounter a bear, then back up and give it space. Over the weekend, a man in Newcastle heard some rustling in his yard, so he went out to check and see what it was, and there was a bear. That bear did attack him, but that man is going to be okay. In Lone Tree, I'm Jessica Crawford, Denver 7.
OPEC's plan to cut oil production could cause some big economic ripple effects. It's the biggest cut to production since the start of the pandemic. ABC's M. Wynn reports on the move expected to have global impacts.
New concerns that gas prices could soon spike again nationwide after OPEC Plus announced it's slashing oil production by 2 million barrels a day to drive up oil prices. The group of oil-producing nations, led by Russia and Saudi Arabia, planning the move for November, just in time for America's midterm elections.
It will affect, in the end, all of us by somewhere in the ballpark of 10 to 30 cents a gallon.
It's bad timing for Democrats in Congress and the White House, where officials say it's a clear sign OPEC is siding with Russia amid the war in Ukraine, harming the interests of the U.S. and European nations dependent on Russian oil. President Biden now considering releasing at least 10 million barrels from the nation's strategic oil reserves next month, though it's unclear how much that might help.
Disappointment, and we're looking at what alternatives we may have.
Gas prices have already been creeping up. The national average at $3.87, a 4-cent increase overnight. In California, the average is at $6.42, one gas station topping $8 a gallon.
It's crazy.
The reason? Maintenance at refineries causing a supply shortage, as well as an increase in demand for fuel. OPEC's cuts in production also expected to drive up heating and holiday travel costs.
It just feels like you're just caught under a wave that's bigger than you have any control over.
Meanwhile, amid a Wall Street Journal report claiming the U.S. is preparing to scale down sanctions against Venezuela's authoritarian government in order to boost oil production, a National Security Council spokesperson telling ABC News there are no plans to change our sanctions policy without constructive steps from the Maduro regime. In a controversial trip to Saudi Arabia earlier this year, President Biden lobbied the Saudis to boost oil production, though he claimed today that that wasn't the point of the visit. OPEC's latest move shows how little influence the administration has over the Saudi regime. M. Nguyen, ABC News, Washington.
All right, well, coming up, get ready to debate. We are talking favorite Halloween candy, this year's candy top picks, and which one is at the top of this list here in Colorado. Plus, one more sign that ski season is right around the corner here in Colorado, the final preps before opening day on the high country slopes.